The all-new 22 Civic, now on sale at Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Good morning.
Morning to you. How is you?
I'm good. I suppose we find ourselves at 9:15 on a Thursday with more rain.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. All of that.
It is like this. It's the
All
same
of
kind of
that.
deal that we've been dealing with.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what you're looking at right behind us right now, more rain today. This is obviously courtesy of our crew at the Storm Center. Future radar.
Yes.
Stepping you through again the day today, and kind of like yesterday, it's not going to be widespread. But if you're in one of those just bullseyes,
Yeah.
I mean around like LSU yesterday, you can catch some rain.
Yeah, and you know the problem spots that we see around town. You know it. Acadian Underpass, obviously Burbank. Parts of Burbank still had a little bit of ponding this morning. So if you are driving out and about today, you have to get out and you see that. Just be careful, because with this mixed with yesterday, ground is still saturated. That doesn't create for the best type of driving condition.
No, and it's just, if you see that stuff, and we were talking about it this morning as well, some of the video and the pictures we got sent in. I mean, people like just barreling through this high water, and sure, okay, fine, you think your truck can make it, but think about maybe where that water is being pushed into, other vehicles, businesses, homes. Don't be that person. I mean, you said it this morning, be a good human.
Yes.
It's not that difficult to be a good human. You should be probably going through there anyway, because you never know, man. I mean, that may be a street that you know, but all of a sudden, maybe there's a bit of an issue, and that, that 8 inches of water that you think you can get through turns into 3 feet, and all of a sudden you're floating, or worse. So.
Hoping to dry out, and right now it looks like we've caught a little bit of a lull as we look over tower camera here. So again, it is a dreary day, but as we look at the next 10 days, more of that rain picture is in for us. So again, we know your grounds, your yards are probably saturated and you don't want to look at this, but we just want to make you aware, because it's not pretty, but you need to know we are expecting some more rain for the time to come. So be careful out there, be safe, as Matt said, be a good human being.
Be a good human being. I mean, like every day, I would imagine.
You
try
try.
Try to do that. Oh, we're all trying to do that.
Yeah.
One of the big stories today was something that was actually supposed to get started yesterday.
Yeah.
But because of Nicholas, got postponed. This is in East Baton Rouge. FEMA setting up an intake site.
Yeah, it's the FEMA Mobile Registration Intake Center. I believe they're calling it the MRIC.
That's exactly right.
And they're going to be on the second floor there at the Goodwood Library, the main library. But it's important to note for people who don't have internet access right now, maybe Cox is still out, maybe AT&T is still out where you live, but you have power back and you need to apply for FEMA aid. Well, there's going to be FEMA representatives to walk you through that application process. Or even if you just have questions, like let's say you did apply for that reimbursement for the chainsaw or generator and you got denied. Well, go to them and ask them your questions about how do I file an appeal? How do I do this? Why am I getting denied? Good opportunity, because they're there for that reason.
Right, exactly. And this is for a lot of folks going to be that first opportunity to speak with somebody from FEMA, see if they are eligible for any of these things. They're not cutting checks here. That's not what this is. This is kind of that first step for a lot of folks, as Liz was talking about, a good opportunity to get in there and have that conversation, maybe start the ball rolling if you have not been able to do that yet. This is obviously from post-Ida, but post Nicholas, people are still dealing with some stuff. But it began at 9 o'clock this morning. They're going to run it until 6 o'clock this evening. And
Callie was out there live at 5, and she said people started lining up at 5:30. So this is going to be an invaluable resource for a lot of people who need to apply for that FEMA aid.
All right, so again, that's happening today. The Goodwood Blvd.
Yes.
You know right where that is. It's the main branch of East Baton Rouge Public Library. Something else we've been talking about.
Yes.
The Blue Tarp program and individual parishes doing what they can to make sure they're up on the roof.
So what individual parishes are doing is on top of FEMA's Operation Blue Roof. So they are actually having organizations like nonprofits come in and help people install these blue tarps. So if you need one, you can go to Ascension Parish Government. They've got an organization. They've got the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, volunteers from there working to install these blue roofs, blue tarps professionally over your home, because it's a lot. With rain coming down, you don't know when to install it, how to install it, if it's just you. So go ahead and call this hotline that's on their Facebook page. They have that number for you to get that help.
It's just from parish to parish, it kind of varies with some of this. The Blue Roof program has been allowed to move forward in a number of our parishes, but yeah, like you said, getting that stuff up onto the roof, depending on where you are, may be a little bit tricky. Other spots, other parishes are making sure you have access to a blue tarp, even if it's
Yeah.
not through that, like Livingston Parish. Leighton Ricks was telling us that you can go to any fire department
station, yeah.
and you can actually pick up a tarp yourself. It's just, you saw the 10-day forecast. You know, it's not going to be widespread
Right.
rain everywhere, but it is pockets of rain moving through. It's going to be those afternoon showers that we're kind of used to as we move into the weekend and next week. So yeah, it's going to be important for a lot of folks. I mean, we took a look at, where was it this morning?
St. John the Baptist
St. John the
Parish.
Baptist. Yeah, exactly
Almost
right.
every house in that area.
The whole, all
Yeah.
the video was just, it was an aerial shot, and it was just blue roof after blue roof after blue roof. Big time needed.
That's it. That's why they've got volunteers helping out to install all of that. And if you still need help in any one of our surrounding parishes in our viewing area and below that, well, the
Yeah.
Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank is actually working.
That's right.
They're working to distribute food, so they've got a couple different places. In fact, 3 of them we listed today on TV. But if you go to the Greater Baton Rouge's website, every day you can find out where they're distributing these food boxes.
And it just never, I remember looking at this originally, and yeah, as you mentioned, Greater Baton Rouge at brfoodbank.org, and they got it kind of set up for you. This is their mobile distributions, and I remember right after Ida, these things were set up, and there's like a running list of days, and I was like, all right, I wonder how long they're gonna do this,
Yeah.
and they just kept adding more and more days to it, and so even after this day, they've still got some more days to come. Something tells me they're going to keep adding days. But for Thursday, September the 16th, you mentioned we got 3. EBR, St. James Parish, Livingston Parish. So trying to spread out like
Yeah.
every given day and make the biggest impact.
So if you need fresh food, if you need non-perishable food, best resources to drive at these places, wear a mask, are all going to be drive-through style, but volunteers will be ready to put those boxes into your cars.
Speaking of people helping,
Yes.
we've talked a lot about obviously power outages here. We saw some pictures today and have seen pictures and video over the last week, week and a half, even 2 weeks
Yeah.
of these linemen coming in and then getting out into these ridiculously difficult circumstances, literally hip deep in swamp, trying to get it hooked back up again. And they're making a difference here.
Overnight, we saw some major progress. It was at least between 75 to 80,000 yesterday when we checked around this time 24 hours ago. Now it's hovering around 51,000. Major progress being made from linemen all across this time. But you can see a lot more blue. We're starting to see areas that were in deep shades of red,
Oh, yeah.
now in that orange and green, and it was yellow even a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So huge progress. Even the areas that we thought would be out for even longer periods of time, we're starting to see signs of hope. The
Yeah.
color is changing into orange. So this is great news for our state as we move through hurricane season and hopefully get past it without another storm like Ida.
And here we are in, what is it, the 14th, 15th of September?
15th, I believe,
It's just,
yeah.
what is it?
16th.
16th?
Thursday the 16th.
Yeah, you're right. God, it all just kind of
2.5
bleeds together.
weeks since Ida made landfall.
So, but yeah, September, just part of peak hurricane season. We saw the tropics,
Yeah.
right? Steve gave us a look at the tropics this morning, and kind of busy again. But the focus right now is getting rid of Nicholas, recovering from that, still recovering from Ida, still picking up these pieces.
Yes.
All the resources we have for you on the 9 News app and WAFB.com. We know what we go through kind of every hurricane season. The potential for it, it just seems like the last couple of years, Louisiana's been in the crosshairs.
Been really busy, especially from last year with Hurricane Laura and
gosh,
Delta
yeah.
and Zeta, and now in our part of the world, Ida. So thankfully, Nicholas did not do what
Yeah.
it was anticipated to do, but still a lot
Still.
of people recovering from Ida. So as we track all these updates, the good news as we move forward, like power restoration
Yeah.
and food giveaways, we're going to keep up with that here on WFB Plus on 9 News Now.
Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Apple TV, also on YouTube, which we are going to stay on.
Yes.
And have our little kind of Thursday chat with
Yes.
y'all, if you'd like to, about whatever you'd like to talk about. We know it's probably going to be a bunch of Nicholas and Ida stuff, but we're going to hang on. So after we sign off from WAFB Plus and all these other channels, we're going to hang on right here on YouTube. And maybe have a little conversation.
A little chat.
Little chat,
So
little
stay
chat.
with us.
Exactly.
If you can't join us, we hope you have a great, dry as possible day.
Please, just try.
Yeah.
Be safe.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
We're back.
Are we?
On the YouTube.
I feel like we were just gone for a quick minute.
We did. For a commercial break. We have to have the commercial break.
Gotta play the money making
Yes.
breaks. So yeah, we try to do this every Thursday morning. Just a little chat about whatever it is you kind of want to do.
Yeah.
Topic of the day, topic du jour. Of course, right now it's all about the weather.
Yes, and it has been really for the last 3 weeks here.
Truly.
And in Louisiana, it always is. Whether it's hot, whether it's rainy, whether it's stormy, all types of different weather that we got to worry about. So with Hurricane Ida, we're still breathing sighs of relief. A lot of people are going through the recovery process. Our friends down deep into the New Orleans area, some of them still without power. In fact, when we share information about power restoration, I see a lot of tweets about my family down in Lafourche Parish still don't have any power. It's been 3 weeks and they're running on 3 generators in their home.
Right.
That's the reality for a lot of folks.
When you get down in there and you see the power outage maps and just bright red, depending on what you're looking at into Terrebonne and Lafourche and over into Plaquemines, and then you start to see a little bit of good news, a little bit of good when you see Jefferson. There you go. Yeah, Terrebonne,
Look at
Lafourche,
that.
and Jefferson. I mean, remember how bright red Jefferson was?
Yes.
Orleans Parish as well.
Yeah.
Plaquemines Parish.
This third of the state was nearly red or orange.
Truly.
2.5 weeks ago, which is crazy.
Exactly right.
1 million customers without power.
That's to think about that number and then to think about now. And I realize we're 2.5 weeks out, and 1 day without power is a lot. Yeah. 2.5 weeks. But now from, like you said, better than 1 million to just over 50,000. And some of these could have been restored and been impacted again by Nicholas.
Gosh.
So, I mean, just a 1-2 punch. Thankfully, Nicholas did not deliver as much potentially as it could have. But the thing is, if you're in a spot that got flooded, and we had some of those hot spots, then Nicholas did provide the punch.
Right.
It was hit or miss with Nicholas in our area.
We saw a lot of video coming out from LSU yesterday about areas that flooded. And we know Burbank typically is a trouble spot, but you've got an influx of students who are now living on campus again because, obviously COVID protocols have changed in the year of 2021. So you've got more cars, more kids on campus, not knowing where to go, some not knowing how to drive around this part of the world when we get severe weather events like that. So it created chaos yesterday in different parts of campus. Lester sharing one video, which is so crazy. Somebody had a mini motorboat driving down Parker, Boyd area. If you're going towards Cyclone Laundry, the laundromat there, someone had a motorboat, and I was scared that it was going to hit concrete because it's so low, but that goes to show you how high the water came. That's literally the definition, flash flooding. It flash flooded right there in front of that apartment complex. And I tell you, I bet that is a rude awakening for an LSU student who's not from here. If you're from here, chances are you've probably been in a flood situation like this before.
Experienced it, sure.
Yeah, and it's still not ideal, but it's scary.
Scary as hell.
Yes.
I mean, and then with some of the video we saw, people coming up on flooded roadways and saying, you know what, I'm going to drive up here on the property and we'll drive up on some lawn.
Right.
And so, don't do that. As Liz was talking about, be a good human. But what are we going to see with that today? Dr. Steve's been talking a little bit about the potential for those bullseye spots to happen again today as what's left of Nicholas. It's post-tropical now, spins along, and there you kind of see it. What's left of Nicholas as it kind of gets out of here, but it is still kind of churning a little bit, kicking up some of that weather. It's just a matter of where that rain falls, how long it falls, and how long it stays in that one spot. You just got to be careful because we've had a ton. I mean, a ton of it. Look at that. Look at the totals.
Steve just shared this on Twitter. Rainfall total to date, 71 inches. That's a lot of rain in 1 year. Record setting. And he and Jared were talking earlier this morning between the commercial breaks, and they were saying that they wouldn't be surprised at this rate if we surpass 80 inches of rain this year, just the rate we're going right now.
Easily.
But that's a lot. When we talk about people who flooded in May and then dealt with this bout this past Sunday to Monday, and then now Nicholas. That's a lot of rain.
Well, look what it says. I mean, if we stopped right now, it'd be a top 20 wettest year of all time. And look right below that. Everybody, I'm not sure how many folks remember 1926, but there's a lot of folks who remember 2016, and so that's what this is being compared to, the amount of rain. Now, look, I get it as well, depending on where you were, a lot of that rain, 30 inches of it potentially, came down in just a few days.
Right.
I understand that, but there has been some flooding, like you mentioned already, in our part of the world this year. So it's a big year for rain. It's a big year for them. We don't need any more.
No, and for a lot of people who are just frustrated with it, how many times can you hear this, the saying, oh, well, I live in this part of X Baton Rouge, and it never flooded before, and now I did. We're hearing that a lot and more and more and more. So hopefully With the rain that's coming in today and throughout the weekend, it'll be sporadic and it'll be light, but we're keeping an eye on that, and that's why the WAFB weather app is a great resource to have. We both have it.
Absolutely.
We use it personally, not when we're at work, just so we know.
It's very easy.
It's very handy to have.
It
and
is.
It's free.
And I'm one of those people who said those exact words. It's never flooded here before,
Right.
And the whole neighborhood was like, yeah, I don't even. And so we got hit in 16, and so I get kind of you get that PTSD that sets in, and I'm a bit kind of neurotic when it comes to it, and I'm always looking at the creek and following everything. But just depending on where those spots set up, you never know.
Yeah.
For us, the flooding really was that backwater flooding of big creeks and big rivers. It wasn't that localized heavy downpour right on top of the house. That's what that was at LSU. It was that localized heavy rain at Kenilworth, a few nights before as well.
Yeah, Perry story.
Exactly right. That was that literally on top of them. In that moment, the rain rate that Steve talks about all the time, the rate of rain coming down in a certain amount of time. And again, we still got some of that stuff to come through today. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, so as we continue to watch this, we're not seeing many questions come in
No,
today,
so we're good.
but that's okay.
Yeah, we're
Hopefully
good.
that means you've got your answers and
That's right.
everything is being settled, but you better believe that if you need any information, we're going to update WAFB.com, the 9 News app. But in the meantime, we really hope you're staying dry, you're being safe, and your recovery process is moving along.
I got my recovery process. I got to go take care of a squirrel.
Oh, yeah, he does.
I do.
Yeah,
I
that
do.
his family is
Yeah.
taking in a
Right now,
squirrel, maybe.
since you guys don't have any questions, I got to go get puppy formula apparently and help bottle feed this squirrel that my cat brought into my house this morning. Apparently,
This is the story.
I think got knocked out maybe by some Nicholas stuff, whatever.
Yeah, maybe
and so
some
yeah,
debris.
so now apparently I have a squirrel.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that was a hell of a text I got this morning.
Squirrel Williams, yeah. Help.
So,
SOS.
if you guys got any advice on how to take care of baby squirrel,
Send it in.
Go ahead, send it in.
Yeah.
Maybe we talk about it next week. I'll let you know how the baby squirrel's doing.
Be good. We'll get an update on that soon.
Oh, God.